Hi Taurus, here is a general look at your solar chart for the whole of 2015. I made another video speaking about the whole of 2015 for all of the signs and some, shall we say, speculation about how things might be panning out over 2015 across the wider stage. There's going to be 3 Mercury retrogrades, as there usually are in a 12-month period. The details of that will be on my website, as will all of the texts that I'm going to be speaking here, minus the asides, on my website. So you can go there and check up on dates or whatever. And the first solar eclipse of the year is going to be happening on the cusp of Pisces and Aries. That's on March the 20th, and that for you is in the area of group affiliations, but also in quite an introspective area as well. So on the one hand, it can be feeling supportive because it is your connections with others, but on the other hand, there's a solitariness there because you are being more introspective. Maybe you're relaxing more, maybe you're giving yourself time just to think and settle things within yourself and connect as well with your higher guidance, for those of you that do like to do that, and or maybe just try it for the first time and see how that feels for you. This eclipse is connecting with the Mercury-Neptune conjunction, which might mean that you have the wrong end of the stick on something, or somebody else has, and there's just crossed wires going on. And as an eclipse energy will sort of furl over the subsequent 6 months, it's as well to be doing something within the 24-hour window of the eclipse that is going to, as it were, set a precedence of a positive change for that coming 6 months, and maybe clearing something up, maybe just being a little bit more aware of clarity, and rather than something being up in the air and you wondering and being uncertain about it. So getting the clarity and putting the wheels in motion for that. And then the second solar eclipse is going to be on September the 13th in a really good area for you. That'll be Virgo, and that means it's a time of change through your relationships, maybe love, like romantic relationships, but also relationships with children, and pets as well. There could be a fresh start related to those, or maybe it is your children that are having this new beginning in some way, but also through the arts, through anything entertaining, through anything speculative or competitive or performance orientated, those sorts of activities, but leisure activities as well. So ringing the changes are connected to any of those areas there. Now, Jupiter is in Leo up until the 11th, and is teaming up with your ruling planet for some of that time, because your ruling planet is going to be in a very long transit this year in Leo. So this is potentially good news for you, but it always depends on how we handle things. This is it's not a benign influence, but it's an influence which tends to find the harmony. So this is pretty okay. And Venus is going to be conjuncting Jupiter at the root of your chart between the 25th and the 7th of July. Jupiter is going to be at the root of your chart till the 11th, and Venus is going to be at the root of your chart between the 6th of June and October the 9th. So that means all nice, yummy things to do with location, property, place on the map, family, neighborhood, and it augurs well for affairs, maybe sort of, in your private, innermost, deepest heart, and connections like that, or with your tribe, within your tribe, that sort of feeling. But also embellishing your property, maybe home improvements, which is a general thing I would say for Jupiter being there as well. But Venus really does bring in that sparkle of which is attractive and which is very sort of intimate and pleasing, and it just puts a smile on your face, really. So whether that's through, interior decor, exterior decor, family connections, extended family, or not, or maybe just access to somewhere. So that could be access to somewhere you prefer throughout the whole of the Jupiter transit through there until August, which started last July, actually, 2014. Your life could be expanding through the home area, through the neighborhood, through family. Jupiter is a planet of travel and long distances, so maybe there's some connections with family or tribe to do with long distance. It'll also tend to underpin a renewed sense of emotional harmony, particularly the time that Venus is teaming up in there from June the 6th. You could be very much feeling more inner harmony, more in your comfort zone with both Venus and Jupiter there, but Jupiter alone as well. But Venus just adds that little bit of sort of underfloor heating. Also, family and community could benefit as you share your knowledge and experiences with them, whether that is, within a locality or whether that is across the wires, because of course space is becoming less of a restriction now. The space we're in, we can actually connect with other spaces all the other side of the world, like I'm doing at the moment. All natives of the sign of Taurus and Taurus rising will feel the energy of Jupiter in 2015, although the nature of the influence will change from August onwards and will tend to be more favorable, actually, excuse me, in the second half of the year. So, and that's because Jupiter will be going into Virgo. So Jupiter in Leo is sort of that very personal, private area, but also to do with property matters. And if any of you are in a negotiation with property, you would tend to do quite well or better than you thought, because of more maybe in the time of Venus being there, which is from June the 6th until Jupiter comes out on August the 11th, or the real hot spot. The real G-spot of this one is Jupiter and Venus together, 25th to the 7th of July. So quite a very sort of small period of time, but which could have larger ramifications. And then we have Jupiter going into Virgo in a really stunningly favorable angle to your sun sign, Taurus. And you will be feeling the relief of Saturn lifting away from your opposite sign. Yes, it's true that Saturn will just make another little visit for a short period in 2015, but you will be feeling the difference. And so with Jupiter in Virgo, this is allowing that more positive, beneficial energy to get more of a look in, because you haven't got this extremely harsh, for some of you, and stressful energy of Saturn in your opposite sign. However, you very, very late Taurians in the last 3 days of Taurus will be feeling this between, when does it come back in there? You will be feeling it from June the 15th to September the 17th. And so for that little period there, just that time there. But with Jupiter in Virgo, it's going to encourage you to be more spontaneous, perhaps a bit more self-indulgent, a bit more prone to party, but feeling a bit more up for it, really. And you may grow through contact with children, animals, pets, and just any situation where your inner child can come out to play, but also through the arts, through any enterprising projects, performance-orientated projects. You're tapping into your personal power more, Taurus. And you Taurians born up to mid-May, or with up to 24 degrees rising, going to feel the Jupiter vibration the most in 2015 once it has transited out of Leo. Saturn, as I say, has now shifted as of Christmas Eve, or just about Christmas Eve, 2014, and has gone into Sagittarius, which is your solar 8th house, which is a huge transition house, and will be there until 2017, apart from the small gap between June and September 2015. This is the gear change zone, as I call it, which usually means through in slow degrees, decks being cleared of the past, emotionally, materially, and in order to make space for new green shoots. And this could involve property, large or small. This could involve finances, relationships, or your own bad habits. It could also involve, a previously agreed to contract, which you have to still honor and work with. It could be a moral obligation as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be, a signature on a piece of paper. But slowly you'll become aware over this time of what your own bottom line is, maybe who you can totally trust, who you want to put your faith into, or maybe it's not like that. Maybe there's a removal of a certain resource that you've been used to, a certain buffer zone, maybe it's like that, or a support system, and it makes you a bit fearful. Saturn does rule fearfulness. So because you see this as a loss. So as I've said before, it's not the planets or the aspects, it's our reaction to them, because the planets and the aspects are completely neutral. They're detached, they're non-judgmental. So maybe you need to strive to have a different perspective on this situation. And maybe for some of you, you're realizing that there's more coming at you than you signed up for in the first place. But one way or another, over this long transit, your value structure through challenge will be reshaping, and then there will be a series of breakthroughs, and you will be coming out the other end with a different approach and a different standpoint to the one, holding a different standpoint to the one you held when you went in. And you Taurians born up to the middle of the first week in May, or with up to 13 degrees Taurus rising, going to feel that energy the most. And then Saturn goes back into Scorpio, which for a moment there has you working harder at understanding where another's coming from, balancing your needs and requirements with theirs as best you can, maybe compromising sometimes, maybe redefining yourself and your world through them, because they are making demands, they are throwing the gauntlet down to you, they are limiting you, they're exasperating you, however it seems to you. And that will be you deciding, am I going to, is this going to make or break this? Is it worth the effort? This is a cycle of you having to work harder at those sorts of close relationship dynamics, and looking to collaborate, looking to improve and aspire, maybe through respect for another who is an authority in some way, who you'd like to emulate. That is another way it can work. And another way it can work is that there is a relationship ongoing perhaps, or maybe it's a new one, but you really want to take this one seriously. This one, you don't want to let this one just float past. It's not casual. It's too important for that. You think it can really work, and you're willing to sign on the dotted line to that to that degree of commitment, involvement. So it can also be like that. It can also be that somebody, through maybe no fault of their own, is just putting more pressure on you, and you're having to take more responsibility on you. And this can be in a working environment as well as in a personal environment. Now, Uranus has been in a background area for many years and will be in there until 2019, maybe pulling you up with a short, sharp shock as you are learning a few home truths about yourself or about another. But also it's an innovative vibration, it's inventive, it's unconventional, so maybe looking into alternative ways of healing, spirituality, but also using your imagination in the arts and so on. And then, and you Taurians are born from the beginning to the 12th of May, or with 11 to 21 degrees rising, going to feel that energy the most. And then Neptune's position shows that there will be a call upon you to be more selfless, sensitive, supportive, where friends are concerned, or groups to which you have an affiliation. And this will be, as I say, as well quite often, if it's in a degree, any of these planets are in a degree which resonate with your natal chart. So the further away the degree is from any planet or sun in your natal chart, the more diluted it will seem to be for you. But this will be, every now and again, this sense of duty to those that you are have an affinity with. And avoid being woolly-minded or just too helpful and too much of a martyr when it comes to certain friends or others that you have this kind of association with. And Taurians born 25th of April to the 1st of May with 5 to 11 degrees rising are going to feel that energy the most. Pluto, it continues in Capricorn for many years and will be felt by Taurians born the beginning of May to the 6th, 7th of May, or with 12 to 16 degrees rising. And this is you maturing, you finding your own personal truth through maybe experiences which are spiritual, which are to do with travel or pilgrimage even. It's sort of got that feeling of intensity and importance to it, anything to do with the traveling, apart from just normal holidays and stuff. But every now and again, when other things are triggering this one, then you do feel that there's something hugely significant and important, maybe intellectual seeking, maybe through academia, maybe through spreading the word across a wider stage and letting people know a bit more about your opinions, your beliefs, your ideals. Pluto's mode of operation is to force an issue through these areas and cause you to think more deeply, but also you can have huge power and influence, Taurus, through what you teach, through your knowledge base, through your words, or maybe, your songs or whatever it is. There's huge power potential, so make sure you use that power wisely. And coming from the place of truth within yourself, that's when you're using it wisely, and no ego. There could be, significant experiences whilst you are traveling, and they could have a profound effect upon you, or somebody from a distance or at a distance could be having a profound effect upon you. That's it for 2015, a very quick overview, and I wish you all the very best for the year, and that you will have interesting challenges but enjoy it hugely. And I'll see you the next time.